Pashas בהעלותך תשפ"ד. We're going to go into a difficult subject. It's a subject that starts all the... It's an introduction to the next few parshas. Very tough subject. We're talking about the Bnei Yisrael not exactly being where we expect them to be. And we're going to go into a first level tonight. B'ez Hashem, on Shabbos, we'll be able to go to the second level and third level, understanding exactly what it says in this psukim. We have a series of psukim here that are basically not what they seem to be. They are not explaining, not stating. It's just seemingly generalities, but without being specific about anything, demands, clarifying. It's dark. Let's read just a few psukim on this short parsha here. Vayhi ha'am kemis'oinim. The people, so already now it doesn't say Bnei Yisrael, it says ha'am. What is the explanation of ha'am? Usually, when it says ha'am, we're talking about only the Erev Rav. But it's not going to make sense, you'll see. Kemis'oinim. So is mis'oinim coming from the word oinen, someone who is mourning, before the mace is buried, the person is an oinen. Is that where the word come from? Then why ke mis'oinim? What were they trying to do? What are you trying to tell me? Or is it like coming from the word kohen oin? Then why the second nun? We will see. Apparently, they were, they gathered and they were complaining. But we will see that there's a specificity in that language that's going to teach us so many things. And that's the reason why the pasuk would not write misloinenim. Complaining. So tell me if they're complaining. Tell me the right word for complaining. What were they complaining? Ra, bad. Okay, bad doesn't tell me much. Where? Be'oznei Hashem, in the ears of Hashem. Oh, they went up and they started talking in the ears of Hashem. Everybody that complains or says anything wrong, it's always be'oznei Hashem, if we want to take it that way. So what did they do specifically, these people, that it says right after Vayishma Hashem? Hashem always hears. He's everywhere. What is the pasuk trying to tell me here? Such a long language for no reason. Vayicharapo, he got angry. Vativar bam eish Hashem, and burnt in them the fire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vatoichal, and it ate up. The fire burnt means consumed. Biktzei hamachne, on the edges of the camp. You scratch your head. When they complained in Parshas Chukas, HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent the Nechashim. We saw last week in the Midrash on Shabbos that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many, when he says Tzevalkes, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has many armies. The armies of the lion, the armies of the bears, the armies of the wolf, the armies of the snakes. And this time he sent the snakes on them. I understand. The venom burns. Aish burns, but it's a different burning. One is from the outside inside, one is from the inside outside. But the body on the venom on the snake is not consumed. Why it had to be specifically Eish Hashem? What's the message? What's the retribution? What's the midah keneged midah in the oynish, because sometimes from the oynish you understand what they've done. So I'm trying to open a door here to see, and in that case, why only the edges, the fire burns on the edges of the camp, should have burned all the Rishayim. Okay, that's number one. Vayitzakam and Moshe, so they came, these people, they screamed to Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu right away daven, the fire extinguished. There was this. Okay, that's number one. Vayikra Shem Amakim Taveira, he called the place was the burning, because Kibara Bamesh Hashem, again, because burnt in them the fire of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Obviously, we have a message. But now we're starting like same subject, a new subject. We don't know. It's not clear. A very unusual word, very unusual writing, very unique, actually, because it's not going to be repeated anywhere else in the Torah. V'hasafsuf asher bekirbo, and the hasafsuf. The ha here is not a he idea; it's part of the word. That is within him. Within who? I'm sorry. If you're talking about the Erev Rav, they were not camping within Bnei Yisrael. They were camping outside the camp. You all know who the Erev Rav was. We learned this several times. The Erev Rav was the Chartumim, the Paro's magicians, and the sons of Bilam. So the sons of Bilam died by the eagle. They were killed at that point. So now here we have only the Erev Rav with all the magicians of Paro. They were not camping in the Machane. They were not holy enough. They were not holy at all, actually, in order to camp in the Machane. Besides that, when Bnei Israel were traveling, they were not included in the Ananei Kavod. They were outside. When Amalek came and fought against the Bnei Israel and killed some, who did he kill? They were outside. They were not protected by the Ananei Kavod. Number three, the Erev Rav was not benefiting of the miracle of the man. Bnei Israel just had to eat it, it didn't need any melacha, preparation, whatever taste you wanted, you had. The Erev Rav had to grind it exactly like bread. They didn't have it at the doorstep of the tent. They had to go and fetch it in the fields. In this case, in the desert, outside the Machane. So it's very important for us to know who are these people. Because if we talk about the Erev Rav, it was a different kind and they were not within. So who are these Hasafsuf that are within them? His Avu Taiva. They desired a desire. Almost I want to translate it that way. If you say desire, his Avu, I know it's a Taiva. The word is Avu. The noun of it is Taiva. So I don't need you to repeat it. But no, here you have to really insist that they had a taiva. Vayashuvu, vayivku, gam bnei Yisrael, vayashuvu, and they return from where? You never told us where they went first. Vayivku, and they cried. Gam bnei Yisrael. So now, the grammar here is missing something. We're missing a sentence in this passage to understand what's the background. What do you want? You want a taiva? Which taiva you want? You return, you cry, the Bnei Israel too. Vayomru mi yachilenu basar. They said, who's going to give us meat? Scratch your head. They used to have, when they entered Eretz Yisrael, it's described there how much cattle and flock they had. Huge. So what do you need meat for? Just go eat a behemoth. You have enough behemoths to feed you for 120 years in the desert, not only 40 years. So why do you complain about meat? And what it means, mi yachilenu basar, says, give us meat. Who's gonna feed us meat? What do you mean, who's gonna feed you meat? Who's feeding you the man? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will feed you will give you the meat. But the mind-boggling thing is what they say right after. Zochanu es adaga, we remember the fish. But 1 second, you said you want meat. What do the fish have to do here? Asher noichal b'Mitzrayim chinam, that we were eating in Mitzrayim for free. Oh yeah, you're lucky, Jew. You're lucky that they gave you your life, for your work. You're lucky. Now you want to tell me that they were giving you fish? They were giving you, oh my gosh, they had Israeli salads that they were serving. Esa kishuim, esa avatichim, esa chatzir, esa betzalim, esa shumin. Oh, they were making you an Israeli salad. Yes. Who are you lying to? You said you want meat. Now, everything you describe after is everything but meat. Something in this story really doesn't make sense. Really doesn't make sense. Obviously, the Pashut touching the puzzle doesn't make justice to the story. Because now we're proving that this story doesn't stand on 2 feet. It's a blur. It's like some smoke to the eyes, not to see exactly what's behind that smoke. And there is something huge behind that smoke. Something that the Torah wants to teach us, which is when the Torah hides things like this, it's usually soidos that enable a person that could save his life, and tikkunim that even in lost, when all hopes are lost, there is a path. But I don't see any path in this chicken. It makes no sense. I will tell you a chiddush tonight. I will blow your mind off. Even though I don't know how you react to words and everything, but I will show you how the Torah, to what extent the Torah goes. Maybe I should start with this, even though it's upside down. I just want to show you, because I'm going to lead you onto a path, and maybe this is going to open your eyes that we don't see with these eyes, because these eyes only see smoke. They see a screen. They don't see what's behind. But with this mind, you can see what's behind. With the eyes of the mind, I mean. Look at this. It's just unbelievable. Let me take this, and I'm going to start with, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be in order, but it will help you understand that there's something very unusual here. We asked all the question. It cannot be the Erev Rab, the Vasafsuf, because we said it's not in the Machim. It was outside the Machim. It's not, they were not in the Ananei Kabbalah. So what is Asher Bekir? I had a hard time explaining that, and I couldn't find Pirushim, to that. So you know what? Let's take the word Yisrael. Let's start with this. Now I'm going to write it in full. Yud, Shin, Reish, Aleph, Lamed. I say, if I have luck, then the half suf should be in this word. If I take the word Israel out of it, so I only take care of the inside. This is what I'm left with. Mean I only take care of the milu, not the passion, not the word Israel. I take it out. I just want to see what's inside Israel, because it says Asher Bekirbo, which is within him. This equals 534 equal the pasuk. The pasuk is meduya to extremely. What happens if I take this word, Israel? You all know equals 541. But 541 is when you break it like this, it's an interesting word that comes out. Oyer choshech. I think it's written without a vowel here, like in the Torah, to make it 541. I don't have the head today to calculate. So, what is a Yisrael? Is someone that has his defects. He has the choshech. You cannot be a Yisrael if you don't have choshech. Because why you are a Yisrael? Because you take the oir and you beat the choshech. Yisrael is not a title. It's an adjective. Many times we learn that someone that takes the oir and understand that he has to elevate himself every time he has a challenge. He has to elevate himself. And he has to take, and even though he cannot elevate himself, sometimes life is difficult and the challenges are very hard. But you gather yourself and you say, you know what? I have memory muscle. At the end of the day, I always know the light wins. Why should I fall into the darkness? Why should I let myself go? I know it's difficult. I know there's a short path on going through the choshech, but it's never a short path. It seems like a short path. It's not. There's no shortcut in life. So go back to the oil, and you making violence to yourself, and you go back to the oil, and you realize later on, not so much later after. And I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to myself here, because I experienced this times after times after times, not to let yourself go into the choshech, not to let yourself, be dragged down. Always try to take the high road, never the low road. We see something now. Moshe Rabbeinu was the one who wanted to take out the Erev Rav. What did he? HaKadosh Baruch Hu disagreed with him. But what did now with what we know? What did Moshe Rabbeinu see in the Erev Rav? Because interestingly, the Erev Rav never made it to Eretz Yisrael. They all died in the desert. Children, grandchildren, everybody. While Bnei Yisrael, only the first generation died. That those who made the ego, and the second generation is the one that went into Eretz Yisrael. But by the Erev Rav, they all died. Now, knowing that the Vehasafsuf and it's the Erev Rav Asher Bekirbo doesn't mean physically living within the camp. Every Ben Israel has an Erev Rav inside. The Milui of Yisrael is Vehasafsuf. This is mind-boggling. So now with this in mind, let's try to relook at the psukim. Let's see if we can find the message here. Because the message is so huge in front of our eyes that it's blinding. It's blinding. The Sifri here explains Mamish carrier touching the pasuk here, very scary. Vayhi ha'am kemis'oinim. People were like complainers. I don't know, something like this. He says the lashon of Vayhi already not introduced, but informs you that you have something not too good happening. Vayhi, it's a lashon of tsar, and therefore some tsar will come. What's the tsar? Is they came from the 49 Shari Tuma, and they're on their way back to it. They come from the Kilkul of Mitzrayim, and now with the complaining, so on every part here, you can say a whole shiur. You can see that complaining is the path down. When someone is not accepting, right away, he is being, so now for your own sake, why should, you already had a test. You're already living a difficult situation. Why make it worse than it is? And again, I'll give you this cloud, and until I hammer it in everybody's head. Whenever there's any sign, the only way to make it disappear is to elevate yourself. The Nisayan will disappear, won't last 24 hours, guaranteed. So here, they're coming, Bnei Israel, they're complaining. They're going, the Sifri says, they're going back to what they used to be in Mitzrayim. And he brings Uriah, he says, he doesn't say Bnei Israel, he says Ha'am. Ha'am, we talk about the Rishaim. He refers to the Rishaim. He brings many psukim like this. What am I going to do? Moshe Rabbeinu says, Sakadosh Baruch Hu says that. Until when they'll fight me. So Ha'am is always, you always find it in a context of rishus, something very bad is being done. So obviously we're talking about Rishon. On the other hand, whenever you see the word Ami, my people, it's always good. It's when Bnei Israel are well behaved and they're doing mitzvahs and so forth. Like they were in Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu went to Paris, says on the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shalach Ami v'yavduni. Send me my people that they will serve me. So you see, when they're going to do mitzvahs, it's always the word Ami coming back. And he explains, excuse me, Rabbi Ullman, can I get back to you in the middle of a shiur? I'm giving shiur right now. Can I get back to you in about half an hour? Okay. Right, bye. Sorry for that. It's from Australia. And the Sifri explains that misoinanim, what is misoinanim is a complaint. So I bring some many psukim. That's the first shita of Rabbi Eliezer. That no, sorry, that's not Rabbi Eliezer. I forgot who it is. This the first shita doesn't matter. This Rabbi Eliezer says. Rabbi Eliezer Gadol says that misoinanim is fighting, interfight. There's no more shalom in Bnei Yisrael. It means it's not only they're coming to Moshe Rabbeinu with a disagreement or with a complaint. They were fighting with each other and everything. There was a whole tumult in Am Yisrael amongst themselves. And Rebbe Rabbi says that the third shita is misoinenim is a mourner. Like when you bring the bikurim, you say, Lo yachalti be'oini mimenu. I didn't eat the bikurim as while being while mourning. Okay, so we have three shittas. We don't know what he means. Does he mean complaining? Does he mean interfighting? Or does he mean, number three, does he mean mourning? They came like mourners, you know, like we can't take it anymore. It's like we lost chas v'shalom, they lost a member of the family, you know. It's kind of that kind of turmoil that and it could be the three of them. Usually when the Sifri brings these things, it's usually not a machlokes. And the Sifri always brings different opinion, but it's building blocks. So you see them coming, they have a complaint, but there's no shalom among them, and their appearance is like mourners, just to make it, to emphasize the level of the complaint. But it's all one period. And what it means, ra, explains, it's Rebbe there now, so explain that ra is avodah zarah. Whenever you see the word ra in the Torah, we're talking about avodah zarah. Okay, so now I have the Tanaim Akdoshim that giving me a beginning of a bridge, understanding my pasuk. That the Bnei Israel came to complain, to do avodah zarah. Wow, how far away I am from the pshat of the pasuk. Here, this whole parsha, truly, and this is where we drill in, is one point. His avu taiva. The Torah wants to teach me the danger to desire. Any desire, we'll see. We will give exact, delimitation of what a taiva is and what it is not. Now you want to tell me they wanted to do avodah zarah? What's the connection between avodah zarah and wanting to eat meat? It's like someone say, "Oh man, I fancy like the behemoth, a 16-ounce steak." Okay, is that taiva? Because we're gonna see what the outcome of it. So we need to understand what it means. Have the incentive to do something versus desire to do something. I mean, when I say incentive to eat a certain food versus a desire to eat a certain food. This is so trivial in the person's life. The Mishnah says in Ovis, there are three components. There is no coming back. There is no explaining. There is no logic. There is no tshuva. There is nothing in this world. There are no components in this world to re-anchor that person back here. Hakina, jealousy, taiva, to desire, kavod, the one that seeks kavod, moitziin es ha'adam min ha'olam, that take out a person from this world, as literally as it is. There's no way to get him back in. No way. I understand that's the message of this psukim. The Torah is giving us a colorful description of what's happening. But I don't understand the words that are being used. Because the word that used here is ra. At the beginning, the first description of taiva is ra. And the Sifri says, and he brings some psukim, whenever we see ra, we are talking about Avodah Zarah. What Avodah Zarah has to do here? The guy has already left the world because he has a kinet taiva covered, and says the Kamana HaKodesh, don't you think these three Rishayim, which are called kinet taiva covered, are independent from each other? The one who's jealous, he has within him, what's the jealousy reason? Because he desires something, and because he seeks something. He seeks covet. When someone has a taiva, anyone that will try to stand on his road to accomplish his desire will be in jeopardy, he will hate him, so you will have. And why does he want to seek that thing? Because he feels it's important and he deserves and this. So you see that these are not three independent midas. These are one big midah, but they're on circle. So at every point of the circle, one shows its head. Very important to us. We want to know where it is because the world is a base. We want to know if the cliff is at the edge, on the northern edge of the base, it's open. We want to know not to get too close. So what is this taiva, and how do you describe this in the pasuk? What are you telling me? Because all the intention of the Torah is to teach us limitations. So how do you teach me a limitation? So what is, I'm going to step back on the pasuk. What is wrong? Zohar says, remember who we're talking about. We're talking about the Dor Hamidbar, the Dor Deah, the only Dor that was able to reach a level above the 7 midas. They were in the Das Elyon. That's why we call them Dor Deah. Says the Zohar, HaKadosh Baruch Hu praise himself with them by showing his children. There will be no other Dor like them from them all the way till after Mashiach. That's a statement. That's a huge statement. But now, if I'm looking through the lens of the psukim that we just read, I have a clash here. You want to call me those guys? Good. Well, those guys are worse than many good people that I've seen in good people that I've seen through the generations. You want to tell me that the Baal Shem was not at the level of the Dor Deah? There was only Dor. Now we're going to play on words. Yes, the Baal Shem as individual, but we're talking about a full generation. Fine. You want to tell me the Dor of Shin Bar Yochai, the first Dor by the Beis Hamikdash, Dor of David HaMelech. None of them went to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and complained. Especially that the Sifri explains what it means be'oznei Hashem. They complain in the ears of Hashem, because usually when someone goes to is invited, his job takes him there to the palace of the king, and he has a complaint on the king, and he's trying to say to hush it to another minister and so forth, and the king comes there. Let me say to him, shh, the king might hear. So the guy tells him, you missed my point. I want him to hear that I have a complaint on him. Now, these guys say that, according to the Sifri, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm not afraid. Bnei Yisrael have 3 midas. They are Baishanim, Rachmanim, Begoim Lechasadim. They have shame. They have respect. Who are these animals that want to talk bedafka in a certain way and language that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should hear that me, my name so and so, I have a comprehension. Who would dare have such a as a spawning chutzpah? These are the people you want to describe me as very unique to the point that from their time to the end of time, there was going to be nobody like them. Honestly, they don't look so holy. I mean, so high level to me. You know, after all the 10 times they're going to complain, you know, it looks like really kind of lowly people. Dari HaKadosh in Shara Kavanas explains a fundamental point, difference between two words. What is the difference between Russia and Ra? Why sometimes we call someone a Russia, but in other times you only see Ra, they're doing bad. Says Dari HaKadosh, whenever you see Ra, that's the worst. They reached the bottom level, the underworld. When you see the word Russia, Russia is composed by the first and last letter, which is Ra, with the shin in the middle. The shin, he says, being a letter Gdosha, from the good. So it means that Russia still, when we call him Russia, means his majority is bad, but it still has good in it. That's the Russia. When the person reached the level of Ra, there's nothing to do for him. There's no way to win him back. He's done. His fried is not going to win. That's what the Midrash, the Pasuk says in Yeshaya. Oi, whoa, la Russia to the Russia, Ra. The path on which a Russia is will take him to Ra. In other words, you understand from the Navi that the Russia has not yet reached the destination, but he is on his way. In other words, I'm going to translate it for us and according to our understanding so far of the pasuk. Every time I'm going to add a little block, I'm going to repeat, and a little block on the pasuk. A person has a desire, which obviously we understand now, the desire is the path of the Rasha because it includes kina and kavod, and it's going to take someone over the cliff. And once, you know, let's bring the spectrum. You want an ice cream in the summer? You want or you desire? That's the difference. If you want something, yes, you're thirsty, you need to drink. But every time, hold back so you make a difference between wanting and desiring. Because this is a huge difference of destinations where these roads take you. You want something, you say a bracha, you're doing a mitzvah, you elevate yourself and you move on. When you desire, like, and you binge, that's Pashavis. I'm going to give you another side on the Shulchan, which is the only tikkun possible on these midas. All these midas that we mentioned have no tikkun, but one. I'm going to touch at the end of the shiur a little bit on this, so even those tonight understand the importance and So here now we kind of wondering what has to do the Avodah Zarah in our place. So now we understand taiva is the path. Taiva is a person becomes a rasha. He's not yet so bad, but the path is he will reach back. Now, if you take the word be'ozne Hashem, the ears of Hashem, equals 96. 96 is the word tzav, order. And the Gemara Sanhedrin says, whenever it says tzav, and tzav, ela avodah zara. Wow, now we're understanding the word of the Sifri. We don't understand the touch in the pasuk, but we understand what Rebbe says. In other words, obviously here, there was some avodah zara. What's the avodah zara? We're going to find out. But here we know, Sanhedrin Vavam base, that there is no such a thing as the word tzav in the Torah. So tzav esaron bezbanav leimor. Yes, look at Rashi there. And tzav el avodah zara. Where's the avodah zara? It's hinted in the pasuk. Whenever we see it, so be'oznei Hashem, the pasuk doesn't come to tell me that they spoke. Yes, purposely to Hashem to hear, they wanted to go openly do avodah zara. That's why the Sifri said before they wanted to go back to the original kilkul. In Mitzrayim, they were doing avodah zara. Here, I'm going to make just open a little parenthesis here, which is brought down in the Zohar no matter what, but I don't want to drill on it because we're on a path to understand one meter, because this meter can save, can mean to a person life or death in this world and in the next world. So we have to really understand. But the Zohar makes an apartheid here, and he goes really out of seemingly out of subject, but you will understand. The Zohar says Ra starts with the bris. A person starts falling down, and part of the path, so on the way from Paris to Zurich in Switzerland, you're going to go through the Alps, and there's many stations, train stations. You can go up, you can go down at any station. Every station on that road is from bad to worse. And the Zohar guarantees that once someone starts on the path of desire, he will come to be choited with these bricks. Now, let me decipher these words because you're going to understand better. When someone feels he is entitled to his desires, he will allow himself and rationalize that what he's doing is rightful. A person decided, I need to hachach my Islam, but I'm going to go rude here. because this is Torah and I need to explain it. If a person decided, you know what, at the end of the day, the Torah allowed us, man, to have 4 women. Chazal came and they made a get, there only 1 woman, so I don't have to marry them, so I'm going to do the best of both worlds, but I'm going to have a girlfriend. He's choite with the bris. Zohar says, no tshuva. All the gates of tshuva are closed down for him. He has no coming back. He has no standing in Shamayim. For everyone, after he got his Gilgul, his Oinshim, he goes to Gehinnom and stays there forever. Zohar is asking, how can it be worse than other Chataim that seemingly are much more stringent, like killing other people? They are killers, they are murderers. Zohar says, you know what the din of a murderer? He's going to go through, he's going to get killed and so forth. He's going to come to Gehinnom. He's going to be, until he's going to be clean, but he's going to go out of Gehinnom. And this one is not going out of Gehinnom. He's not going out of Gehinnom. What has he done so bad? Let's look at, with a different lens on the exact same problem. What triggered the person to go down? What triggered the person to take that train and to be on that path? He had a taiva for ice cream. He was binging ice cream by the gallon. When you see a person like this, you can be assured he's a choite with the bris. There's no question. How can you be sure? We knew about the words and the das. Even it's also here the word the words but you see, the mouth is a one mouth for 2 tracheas. And the esophagus, or whatever it's called, this trachea here, the veshet, the kane to breathe for air to the lungs, and the veshet to the stomach. Whichever one you mess with, either talking or ingesting the wrong food or the wrong way, the person is liable to the same outcome. And he's going to be out of this world. Okay? But he's not done yet. As we said before, killer is much more severe. So what should this one not have a tikkun at all? The difference in the mindset. When I deserve, I want, and you know what? The truth is, what I want is not really overboard. I deserve it. That person has taken the train to death, to eternal death. The Zohar says that person will not stand up in Kriyas Ameis. He has no life now. He has no Ilam Haba. Now, even Kriyas Ameis, he doesn't. What's so bad about it? When a person become a baby, a whining baby, that wants every time to receive his food, to get his milk from his mother, and all he knows is receiving, this person has tithers. This person not only has tithers, is not only whining for food, he's going to be whining for everything he wants. And now the Satan takes him by the hand and make him jump and jump and jump until, as the Gemara says in Shabbos, do this today and do this the next day until he makes him do avodah zarah. So Ra, it's not wrong to say we only call it by the last station. When someone already approached the last station, it's Ra. When someone passed, so there's the one before last, it's called the breeze. When someone passed it already, there is no coming back. I mean that once when a person arrives to this extent of chataim, at that point you know there's no return. The Ramak explains. The Ramak wonders and brings the Yerushalmi, the Moshe Kodovero Zecher Tzadik B'Kadosh Livracha, one of those huge Mekubalim that suffered partially like the Ramchal, being pursued all the time. And his Torah endured, up to today. We see his Talmid, the Reshis Chachma, whatever side you take, the Ramak, the Oryakar, the Devera, his Torah is alive and well, endured time. But the Rishaim, Murim, that pursued such a tzaddik, nobody remembers the name. Vishem Rishaim Yirkov. The name of Rishaim will how do you say Yirkov in English? To rot, will rot. So that's what it is. And the Ramak tells us a huge Torah, huge Torah. So Yerushalmi Peah says, and davar ha'omed bifnei tshuva. There's nothing that stands before the tshuva. So how can you, Zohar HaKadosh, tell me? This was the Tanaim. So how can you, Zohar HaKadosh, tell me that this guy has no possibility of any redemption? The Rambam paskins like this Yerushalmi, and davar ha'omed bifnei arotza, and davar ha'omed bifnei tshuva. Nothing stands before the tshuva. So how is it possible this tira? Says the Ramak HaKadosh, in every tshuva, you have two levels. The lower level and the upper level. Tshuva tasa, tshuva ilah. Sur merah, va'asetay. These are the two tshuvas. Refraining yourself, coming over your Yetzer Hara already, it's a tremendous level of tshuva. Sur merah, stop doing bad. You haven't started doing good, but once you start doing good, this is a tshuva ilah. He says, when someone has the desires and passed already a few levels, at that point, Sur Merah doesn't work. That's the kavanah of the Zohar. The first level tshuva is not going to accomplish anything. It's much deeper inside him. What he means va'asetay, do good for others. In other words, change your being. You were a person that was on the receiving end all the time, and you indulge yourself because you are on the receiving end, and now you have to become a person that's a mashpia, that's giving. Now you have a tshuva. The tshuva, that's why the tshuva from refraining only from doing a chet, it's not enough, because you haven't changed the kli of ra that the person has. At any moment, he can sin. Can someone say on Shabbos, God, you know what? I used to smoke on Shabbos, I'm not smoking. But he lights up the cigarette, says, God, you see, I have the cigarette here, but I'm not going to smoke it. And indeed, he holds the cigarette till 10 ashes. This is an idiot, right? How many other Isurim is he making at this? He's an idiot. On the other hand, he's not smoking. So you really see Gvura here. But for this, when he passed for the priest, it's already, his nature turns out to be a chefta de isura. He's part of an issa. He'll never be able to make. He needs to elevate himself from there and become a giver. Stop being a taker. Now, I want to show you this in the words of the pasuk. That I'm not telling you here, I didn't come to tell you a Musa shmuz or a hashkafa shmuz or anything like this. Let's go back here. Okay, we didn't understand why by here, who are these people? Oh. This equals to 146. Malachi Chabal. We're talking about the underworld here. Whoa, what's happening? You will see the words of the Sifri coming alive in here. Okay, you have it now. You're not used to that word. Now we had a second word that was very interesting. That we had the machlekes of the Tanaim how to explain it, even though we're making peace among them. Oh, sorry. Now we're facing something. By he ha'am kemisoinim, they were like complaining. They were not complaining. They were trying to reach their goal. That's why it says kemisoinim. They wanted to reach the Taiba. What was the Taiba Ra? We're talking about Avodah Zarah in front of your eyes. These people wanted to do kishuf. The sorcerers of Pharaoh realized, I'll expand on it on Shabbos, that you need a table and food on it. That's why all Mechashvim has a set table with food. But they wanted to bring, so the man was too holy, was not considered a food, so they could not accomplish, their magic. So they came with the intention because they wanted to do their things. You don't understand. In the midbar, you have, this is the Zohar says it's the Makom where reside Nachash, Sarav, and Akrab. The three bigger clippers, which are the clippers where all the Shadim, Ruchin, Benishmasin of the bad are all there. So this guy wanted to take advantage. And they wanted to return to the Malachi Chabala, to the Avodah Zarah, which is the Nachash and the Nachash. What's in the midbar? We say the three clippers. Just to save time, I think I'm going to stop by putting the Saraf and Akrab. So it's a pasuk in Devar. Very famous number, 1,317. Adam Aryeh Nesher. Sorry. Shiur Nesher. The Merkava. Once against the other. They wanted to be on that side. They wanted, despite that now they live with the Bnei Israel, and now you understand, these people have an in on the Bnei Israel. This doer, as I'm going to prove from the words in the Pasuk on Shabbos, never meant to do a chet. Despite having the Erev Rav touching them to the Neshama from the inside, as we saw that Hasafsuf is part of the Bnei Israel, is part of the word Israel. But the purpose of Ben Israel is to bring the oil over the Chosher. Despite that they brought down their past, and it seems very interesting, you know, Bnei Israel got revived to do this thing. How they going to overcome this? This is tremendous. What it teaches us? It teaches us that this is the path for taiva. Right away, the Zohar says there's a right for Malachi Kabbalah to sit down at the table of that person. When the person sits down to binge or to come out of a desire for certain foods or for a meal, you know, like he's going to a restaurant to, and I'm going to, well, don't sit on his table. Reshis Chachma says, don't sit at his table, this person. Lo yegurucha ra. You're not allowed to leave with ra, with a person that on his way to Avodah Zarah. That person is on his way. Oh, no, you don't understand. He looks really frum. Look, I daven Shemon Esrei is half an hour. Yeah, you bet. These people are all on the outside, nothing in the inside. You're not allowed to sit down with that person. I'm going with him. I feel bad. It's a restaurant. Walk away. It's allowed. Lo yigarucha ra. You're not allowed to be there. His only purpose is to be fulfilling his taiva. And since he wants to be fulfilling his taiva, there's nothing you can do. I'll finish this on this because I want the people of this year also to know that tikkun. Taiva usually starts with the table and ends up with the table. In other words, the same way a person falls, the same way he can elevate himself back to the top. He started, the first station of the train is food. Call it ice cream, call it steak, call it whatever you want. That's the first station. We know that a few stations down, it's called bris. And the last one now has a name also, it's called Avodah Zarah. So now we have the whole path, we know what between Paris and Zurich. All the name of the stations, we get them from the Pasuk. When this person decides, I've had it, how am I going to turn myself? What am I going to do in order to turn my own being, which loves binging on food, on ice cream, on hamburgers, on whatever you want? How am I turning myself back onto the path where the first station is the table and the last station is Kisa HaKavod? Because Zeh HaShulchan Asher Lifnei Hashem. Yechezkel says that the Zohar explained on the pasuk in Truma that Malachim are standing when a person sits the Kavodik by his table. Malachim stands by the table, and when he finished eating, they take the table and they said Vatera and they put tzedakah. They take the table, bring it before HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you can praise yourself with that table. Zeh HaShulchan Asher Lifnei Hashem. Two different, extremities, polar extremities. a person starts with Kedusha when he starts eating properly on the table. Kedusha, it's not something you go, I'm going to the mikveh 26 times. I got to say that, sometimes you have waves like the water gets over the walls. You know, I'm getting, I don't know what you do, my friend, in order to feel like you need, maybe you should take a scrubber and go into the shower and scrub yourself a bit more, you know. But don't expect the water to do it for you. When a person approaches a table with the head down, knowing he's going to the Mizbeach, with vidui, like because it's a korban he's bringing, and every korban, when you do smicha, you have to do vidui. When a person needs to rearrange himself and comes, that's the word from Be'er Chaim, and comes to the table with achna, with vidui, automatically a level of kedusha comes down upon him. Like after the korban, he gains kapara. I have a different approach to this. We all know we live in Olam Asiyah. We live in a world where things need to be done in order to be created. So I love the concept of kedusha falling from Shamayim right on the person. Yes, I believe it. I'm a maimin. I'm everything. However, I just don't understand. And I would be so much stronger before any sign if I would understand it. Therefore, I'm going to explain it. How much is kedusha? 415. How much is ma'aseh? 415. You have two ways to do a ma'aseh in this world. So it's fake to say that this world only acts by only a ma'aseh, which is an action. No. You have another way to perform in this world, is by kedusha. And kedusha that's why it has the same value as, and that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Kedoshim tiyu ki kadosh ani Hashem. That's the reason. So now we understand the Bnei Yisrael, they were kemisoinim. They had their sapsuf. They didn't put the knee down. They used it to raise themselves. Whenever they raise themselves, automatically the taiva, kine, covered, all this goes away. All this goes away. The person remains like asetayv. It's not in sur merah, he is in vasetayv. We have to watch these 3 meters. And Bez Hashem, if we can remove kine taiva covered, should be zoiche to Mashiach to kine b'mera b'yameinu. Amen.
Amen.